Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. Like always, if you're enjoying the content of the channel, be sure to smash the like button for me. Hit the subscribe if you're new, and ding that notification bell so you're instantly notified whenever I upload or go live. Today, we are back talking some Philadelphia 76ers. Got a lot of cool videos coming up in relation to draft, free agency, trades, etc. A lot of cool things to come. But today, we are going to talk about the possibility of reuniting Mr. Austin Rivers with his father, aka the Philadelphia 76ers newest head coach, aka Doc, aka Glenn Rivers. Yes, that is right. Back in 2014, the Clippers went out, and Doc Rivers, who also had GM personnel and duties, went out and acquired his son in a 3-team trade that brought him to the LA Clippers, where he spent 4 years of his career playing under his father. Now, Austin Rivers was drafted back in 2012, was the 10th pick in the draft, and obviously never lived up to the hype. He had a lot of injuries along the way, just never was able to translate that well to the NBA level. But as of late, in the last few years, he had a couple strong years in LA, and then over the last couple years has kind of made a name for himself. Nothing too crazy, but can be a sufficient role player if used in the right system. Now, Austin Rivers, the commodity of having a guy like him is that he can play either the 1 guard or the 2 guard position. He's going to be very versatile. Now, as of late, he has turned into sort of a 3-point specialist, a guy who you're going to kick it to, who's going to be able to knock down shots from behind the arc. In addition, he's not going to be afraid to take it to the rack, to switch hands, and to go up on a bigger defender, even though he is a bit undersized. His durability, his athleticism doesn't jump off the table, but what I do know is that he can be a bit of a smart player. He is pretty decent on both sides of the ball. He's an adequate defender. He's nothing crazy, but the one thing that Austin Rivers will bring to the table that I've seen almost throughout every destination of his career, which has even ramped up over the last couple years, is his toughness. He's a guy who's going to be loud. He's going to jibber jabber all down the court, and I think that the Philadelphia 76ers actually need a guy like that. Now, he's not as prominent, as a trash-talking Marcus Morris. He's not a Patrick Beverley guy, all right? But at the same time, he could kind of be our Corey Brewer from years back. I think Austin Rivers would be able to come here and make an impact off the bench. He's not a 6th man. He's not a 7th man. He's not an 8th man, but Austin Rivers can play 25 to 27 minutes a night. He can put 8 to 10 points up a game, and he's going to be able to shoot 35% plus from behind the arc. Now, here's the thing. He made about $3.5 million over the past 2 years with the Houston Rockets. He's currently sitting at a player option of about $2.39 million. Now, I don't think that Austin Rivers is going to end up taking that 1-year deal. I think he's going to try to hit the free agent market and test for some more money. But given the stage he's at in his career, 28 years old, he should be in his prime, but at the same time, Austin Rivers has really never lived up, like I said, to that hype. So I think Austin Rivers is not going to get anything more than a 1-year, $4 or $5 million deal. And given the Philadelphia 76ers situation, we have a lot of hard contracts that are not going to be easy to dump. We are going to have to find some gems, some diamonds in the roughs, just some players that we are going to be able to plug into this rotation who are going to have to play above their level, who are going to have to play above their salary. And Austin Rivers could potentially be a nice piece if he tests free agency. Now, a lot of controversy has stirred with Austin Rivers because of his relationship with his father, Doc. It has been viewed negative by a lot of people because going back years ago, it's almost admittedly open to the public that Chris Paul, his relationship was stirred with Doc Rivers. It ended up going downhill because he felt that Doc Rivers was too close to his son, that he favorited him as if this was Little League basketball, all right? And he felt that there was that connection, not just Chris Paul, but guys like Matt Barnes and guys like Big Baby Davis. They felt that Doc Rivers had favored his son way too much. Now, that is true. I think that is definitely true to some extent, but here's the thing. When you go new places, when you get new experiences, both on Austin Rivers and Doc Rivers' side, I think you learn. I think you learn from those kinds of things. Austin Rivers had his best years as a Clipper. He averaged 12 points a game back in 2016. He averaged 15 points a game, shooting almost 38% from behind the arc back in 2017. And then he was traded. And here's the thing. Even if Austin Rivers, started to become a problem in the Sixers locker room, well, Doc Rivers, the same guy who acquired his son and became the first duo in history to have a son and a father on the same NBA roster, he was the same guy to go ahead and trade his own son, and I don't think he would be hesitant to do the same thing if he was causing drama here. But I think you learn, because as Austin Rivers departed from the Clippers, his numbers went significantly down. Now, this past year, he looked a lot better. I think he started to evolve and understand kind of what it meant to play an 8th, 9th man role and to become that kind of veteran. I mean, that one game in the bubble, even when Russell Westbrook was out, he went and hit 6 threes off the bench. I think he's sort of understanding his body a little bit better. And let's not forget, he didn't have the most minutes on the floor because of the heavy guard play by a Russell Westbrook and by a James Harden. So I think there would be a much bigger opportunity for him here in Philadelphia. And I think now that Doc Rivers is in a new situation in Philadelphia, and the Sixers obviously need guard shooting, and they also need guards who are not one-dimensional, who can put it on the floor and bring it to the rack, and guys who are going to be tough and are going to be vocal on the court, I don't see why Austin Rivers would be a terrible experiment. I mean, sure, there are people who are never going to like the fact that it seemed like he was playing daddy ball in LA. And yeah, it could have stirred things up, but at the end of the day, this is a new situation. This is 4 years later. Now, another thing is not just the fact that Doc Rivers went out and traded for his son and started to develop this relationship, but he went and re-signed him for 3 years, $36 million, $12 million a year, when a lot of people knew his son wasn't worth that, given the stage he was at in his career, given the fact that he never lived up to that first round hype. And I just think that's actually a positive, because Doc Rivers will learn from that. He understands, where they kind of got that out of the way, so they know you're not going to be able to pay Austin Rivers a lot of money, even though he has had, at least decent production as of late. I do think he will test the market, but I don't think he's going to be worth that much, and he could be a nice piece to try off the bench. He's better than a Raul Neto, he's better than a Trey Burke, and maybe he's even better than a Shake Milton. Who knows? Austin Rivers, if he played up to his potential, could play 25, 28 minutes a night. He's going to be able to shoot. Now, he's not the best in terms of playmaking, and that's been one of the deficiencies of his career. He also hasn't been known to be a guy who can accumulate turnovers, that can get his hands in the way of passes cross court or anything like that. Like I said, he's just a decent player. Overall, the Sixers are going to need a guy, like I said, who's going to be able to motivate the others, who's going to have his presence felt on the court. Might not contribute every night in terms of the stat sheets, but he's going to dive. He's going to get loud. He's going to ramp this crowd up at the Wells Fargo Center. And we need a guy when Ben Simmons is playmaking, or whatever guard we bring in here, or a Shake Milton, whenever they are able to kick it out. We knew that we never had that reliable option. And I think given our second unit, the way that Doc decides to run this offense, because we know he wants to drastically improve this offense, we're going to need shooters. We're going to need guys who can spot up from the corner and hit a three when we need it in the big time moments. And I think Austin Rivers has that swag about him, and I don't understand why we couldn't try it out at least. If Austin Rivers is on the free agent market, I think the Sixers need to go out and offer him a 1-year deal for $3 or $4 million. Try to bring him here, and of course, we have his father on his side, which would also entice him to come. Whether he's a nice end of the rotation piece, whether he's just a voice and a veteran that can stand up in the locker room and be alongside his father, I think they've learned from their past mistakes, and I think the Sixers need to go out and at least give it a try. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.